Scorpio, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Sorry to, this is your reading from the 15th to the 31st of May 2020. Sorry guys, your cards are already laid. I did actually go through the whole reading, but something went wrong with the recording, so I'm going to have to quickly record it again. And yeah, I'm glad that that happened actually, because it just means that in certain areas actually I could probably get down some other clarifiers actually thinking about it. So for this reading, I've just decided to do a simple 7-card spread. I'm just looking, this area is your week, the next 2 weeks as a whole. So we're just looking at the energies around that, what it could be about. And then we look at something unexpected that might arise, is this area here. How you stay grounded and balanced is this area here, and then we look at an important emotion that you'll feel over the next couple of weeks. I'm probably going to clarify why that is there, and then we look at something that will inspire you, which is here, your spiritual advice, so advice from spirit here for the next 2 weeks, and finally how best to support yourself this week. Okay, and I had a clarifier on that area as well. So 3 of Cups was the card that showed up for the week, for the next 2 weeks as a whole, Scorpio. So the next 2 weeks as a whole, it's an interesting one, because the 3 of Cups is a really nice card. You know, it's a card about celebration and gathering and together and reconciling and people who are drinking and partying. So I don't know, I mean, look, most of the world's on bloody lockdown, so I don't really know how that works. If it's, I mean, it may simply be that it's representing, perhaps the focus for the next 2 weeks is coming together with people that you know, friends and family, but it might be in a completely different way. It may not necessarily be meeting up. I mean, some of you guys could be. I mean, in the UK, we're allowed to meet up with like one other member of our family. If you live in, like I live in a separate place from my twin sister and her family, so I might be able to meet up with my twin. I mean, we'll probably just, I don't know, we might meet up anyway, but, you know, I wouldn't go over to their house, because apparently we're not allowed in families' houses. So if you don't live with your family, you can't even go into their house. You know, you have to meet them, you know, one member of your family somewhere and have a chat. You're just not allowed in the house in case you're walking in and contaminate anything in there. It's really interesting. But anyway, that's what the government have said, so whatever. That it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, certainly some of you guys may be meeting up with a friend or two or something like that, albeit keeping social distancing, of course. Well, this could be online, that type of thing. Something unexpected that might arise this week is the 9 of Wands. Now, the 9 of Wands on this particular deck, because we're using the This Might Hurt Tarot deck for this reading. Really love this deck. Spiritual advice by Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. It's an interesting one with the 9 of Wands, because the 9 of Wands, unexpected, sometimes this can be a bit of a war, because the 9 of Wands is a card about war, funnily enough. It's a card about being, a bodyguard or being a soldier or having to defend your territory and that type of thing. And it may be that you're put in a place of power in this area here, Scorpio. Unexpectedly, you may be required to defend yourself or defend someone, or to look after a particular territory and to make sure that it's kept safe. I clarified this and I got the 5 of Wands and the 2 of Coins, and it felt like to me when I looked at these energies, Scorpio, that it was more about you guys possibly having to manage this energy here, because the 2 of Coins is having to manage kind of variables with the 2 of Coins energy here. It can represent the need to be flexible as well, especially with the 5 of Wands energy, when you've got a little bit of chaos going on around you, the need to be really flexible around that. So I think a couple of things. I think that number one, unexpectedly, it may be that you're put in a position here, Scorpio, with the 9 of Wands, where you are put in a position of being a soldier. You're going to have to defend or look after something or look out for something, and it may be that the situation could be to do with family members, it may be to do with friends, it may be to do with work colleagues with the 5 of Wands energy, you know. But this energy, these 2 cards look very kind of, they're not so much chaotic, but it looks like somebody's having to manage this energy here, like the 2 of Coins is kind of having to prioritize with this energy here, especially if you're dealing with people. Might be the next 2 weeks you got a really heavy week on, you may be, you know, a really heavy couple of weeks, you may be dealing with like different challenges and things like that, and there is a need to manage that. Now, if the 5 of Wands is a challenge instead of people, the 9 of Wands, it may be that something unexpected arising, maybe your need to be resilient, for example, because the 9 of Wands can be the need to be resilient and hold in there and to hold your head you know, high. It's a card, really, I treat this card in a way as my stiff upper lip card, which is what we call in the UK, just kind of keep calm, carry on, don't moan, never complain, never explain, as it were, such as, you know, Queen Elizabeth says, sort of thing with the Nine of Wands. You're just holding on in there, and, you know, you're standing by your post, and you're being a good little soldier, which is what the Nine of Wands is, being a soldier. And it may be that it's a situation, Five of Wands energy. It may be that there's some challenges some of you guys may have to face potentially with the Two of Coins energy. It's going to require you to be quite flexible and, you know, just to be quite adaptable with that. So there may be things that you're facing that require you to be quite adaptable with this Two of Coins energy. So you may be required, it may be that what's unexpected is you're going to have to, you know, you may have to kind of step up a little bit, I think, over the next couple of weeks, especially if you're facing challenges, or this is to do with people that you're dealing with and there is a need to kind of either manage situations or at least be flexible and adaptable with them. How you stay grounded and balanced. Well, I certainly feel that this kind of connects in with this energy here. The Queen of Swords is extraordinarily kind of clear thinking. She's clarity. That's what she represents. Clear thinking, and somebody who's a very clear and precise decision maker. This person has a clear direction. And there may be a need in order to kind of balance and ground out whatever this situation is here, Scorpio. There may be a need for you to define some clear parameters, or to make some clear decisions, or to give some clear instructions with the Queen of Swords energy, because she's the type of person, if you've got all of this going on with the Five of Wands and the Two of Coins, where you've got either, you know, some form of, you know, chaos or something going on amongst the people that you're around, you know, family, friends, or work colleagues, and then it's required for you, because I see with the Two of Coins and the Nine of Wands, both of those cards for me, if I were to look at them and look at the similarities, they both represent for me perseverance and persistence, and basically two people who are in charge of managing something, you know. So I just feel that here, if you're in a position where you're having to manage either either a challenge that you're facing, or people around you, or so, it feels like something's getting a little bit too much in this area here, Scorpio. Could be work related with those Wands and the Pentacle cards as well, potentially for some of you guys. Then it feels to me that, you know, when we've got the Queen of Swords, she's the type of person that's going to streamline all of that. So you've got a little bit of kind of like needing to be very kind of persevering and knuckle down and kind of just try and manage the situation and try and be flexible in that. But in order to stay grounded and balanced around everything, you need the Queen of Swords, because you need her to direct how everything's going to go. So some of you guys, it could be a person here that will help you to remain grounded and balanced, or it could be yourself making some very clearly defined decisions on how this is going to be prioritized or sorted out, because it may also be that in terms of what something unexpected that arises with the Nine of Wands energy. To me, you guys, it may be you've got a lot of work coming on with that Nine of Wands energy. And there is a need to be very kind of, you know, focused with that Nine of Wands energy showing there. You might feel like sitting down and going to bed, but the Nine of Wands never does. The Nine of Wands is always standing its ground and always protecting its territory, showing here. Whatever that case is for you, there is a need to make some very clearly defined decisions around this, and to make it clear, and to also probably impose some very clear instructions on how we're going to manage this situation happening here. An important emotion, the emotion that you'll feel this week, is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is a card about feeling sad. I mean, it's not just that. There's so much more to this card. This card can be the card that represents giving up drink, or giving up drugs, or giving up, you know, bad stuff for yourself, and, you know, sugar, or, you know, just bad stuff that you might eat. It can be the card that represents that. And so an important emotion that you're going to feel for some of you guys in the next couple of weeks is that you are going to be feeling sad. Maybe there's something that you have to give up here. But the good thing with this is that once you've kind of, you know, accepted the loss of something here, Scorpio, we can turn around and we can say, well, on with the next. Because the Two Cups behind this person doesn't see that there is still optimism is still alive. There is still something there behind this person. There's something new. There's something better, because Two Cups upstanding and Three Cups, you know, falling down. So an important emotion to feel, I think, in the next couple of weeks is to mourn the loss of something. Yes, it's important to mourn the loss. It's important to acknowledge how you feel, especially when something has been lost. But I think that it's, it's also more important to acknowledge that you can gain through it as well, because the two cups are still upstanding. So for me, this is all about gaining something. So an important emotion for Scorpio is to, mourn the loss of something, whatever that is. Some of us are mourning the loss of our freedom and are mourning the loss of the way that things used to be. We know that we're all going through a situation at the moment, Scorpio, and it's kind of weird, isn't it, for everyone? Because you're thinking, okay, how long will it take for life to return to normal? Because it probably won't, just for a little bit of time, and we've got to kind of accept that. But also I think that it's really important with the Five of Cups, not just to mourn the loss of what was, but also to kind of get excited for what can be, because we've still got potential there, and we've got potential to really turn things around and for things to be even better than they were before in some way, shape or form. One of those things can be, I think personally, my twin sister and her partner, my brother-in-law, they're managers and they work for a really good university over in the UK. And, everybody, thousands of people work for this university and they're all now having to work from home. There's a lot of these companies that are saying, before all of this stuff happened, a lot of companies were kind of saying, oh, no, we can't have people working from home. You have to come and all work in this shared environment, the office, whatever you want to call it. Now we've got companies turning around like today, I think I read in the papers, companies like Twitter, for example, and I think Facebook is another one. Maybe Google is going to be another one, that type of thing. But you've got these companies now turning around and saying, actually, we think we'll make it mandatory. You can work from home, or, you can choose. You can work from home or you can work from the office. But, actually, this isn't too bad. Now, it doesn't work so much for people that rent out buildings, because they're going to see, obviously, a cut in what their revenue in terms of renting out these big buildings to these big companies. But on the more positive aspect, it's going to be quite a healthy thing for some, not everybody, but for some people it's quite nice, I guess, because a lot of people who didn't want to work from home, when my twin started working from home for her company, at first she was like, well, I don't like this, I want to be back in the office, because my twin loves to look glamorous and dresses up and all that. I want to be out there, I want to be back in the office, talking to my friends and engaging with people. And now, kind of 2 months down the line, she's like, I don't want to go back into an office, I want to stay where I am. I enjoy working from home. I enjoy, taking an hour out with my partner and my daughter and walking and, going for really long walks and then coming back. It's really refreshing. It's nice. She prefers it now. So, as I said, the important feeling over the next 2 weeks is to mourn the loss of what is, because there will still be some of you guys that will be kind of like, I miss things the way that they were. But I think it's also, with the two cups behind you, is to really get excited for what can be and what is coming and what has great potential as well. You don't see it just yet, but there is something amazing around the corner. It's not just for Scorpio, I think it's for everyone, and I think it's actually quite exciting. And it's going to, we do find that in every type of civilization, in every type of generation, you look back to times when nobody on this earth was born, and then you've had these major kind of tower moments like we're having now, these major catastrophes that have happened, but really it's all about building a new earth, and that's what we're having now. It's a massive catastrophe, but we are actually building something new. So get excited for the new as well. Mourn the loss, but don't spend too much time on that, and get excited for what's new, because it's going to be great. Something that will inspire you. Well, some good news could be coming in with the Eight of Wands showing up here. Good news. Eight of Wands is news, and it's information coming towards you. Okay, some of you guys, it's obviously it's going to be news from the media. Eight of Wands is media. So yeah, that could be something good that's coming in. So this is something that would inspire you. So news, possibly it could be the media, it could be from anywhere, but some good news coming for some of you guys that's going to really inspire you. Okay. And how does your spirit guide you? What does your spirit tell you? What's the advice from spirit this week? Knight of Swords energy. I just feel that it's just move forth. Keep on moving forward towards accomplishing your goals, Scorpio, with the Knight of Swords energy. There are challenges that each of us faces. And here we can see in this area here, something unexpected that arises. You may be required, something unexpected that arises. You may be required to be a soldier here. I don't mean a literal soldier, but some of us are living very fairly kind of sedentary lives. We're doing whatever we do. I run a business from home, obviously, Carol's Universe, the tarot business. But at any one time, we could all be called up to do something. And I don't mean kind of by you know, the law or anything like that. It might be by a family member, that type of thing. It might be by a friend. But, you know, don't be surprised if you are called up with the Nine of Wands to protect or to look after something here. This could be something to do with children. It may be some of you guys are being called up to manage, to acquaint somebody else's kids, that type of thing, you know, because these are children and this is to manage. So you may be being called up, you know, don't be surprised if that happens, because something unexpected coming in could be requiring you to, you know, to stand on the front line, managing somebody else's stuff or trying to manage a situation here. But I think that the universe spirit is saying, Scorpio, but move forth with confidence with the Knight of Swords energy, regardless of whatever this is. Move forth, carry on moving forth towards your goals, because you're going to accomplish them. Okay, it just takes, you know, the way that you remain, because this is kind of energy that would throw anybody out, I think, but the way that you remain grounded is by strategizing as well with that Queen of Swords. There's a need to build in some form of a strategy. And finally, I think that the best way to support yourself this week, we have the Two of Swords and the World. To me, this is focusing on the goal. When you get a Two of Swords, it's not just about making decisions, it's about self-focus as well. It's about blocking everything out and just focusing on the goal. Now, when I say blocking everything out, it's blocking out, with the Two of Swords, it's blocking out your emotions and your feelings. So even if this is something that comes in and you're like, oh, I don't like this, or I don't want to do it, you know, the best way that you can support yourself is by not allowing the emotional to kind of interfere with the thing that needs to be done. You need to just focus on accomplishing whatever that goal is, because the world is completing. So there is a need. The best way to support yourself, even if this situation here is kind of like, this doesn't feel comfortable, or I don't want to do this, or this is too much for me to cope with at the moment, the best thing to do is not to allow your emotions to influence you. The best thing to do is not to allow your emotions to influence you, Scorpio, with the Two of Swords energy, and purely focus on completing whatever the task is that you've been set. And again, you know, that Knight of Swords being the advice from Spirit, he's focusing on the world here. So there is a need, two cards sitting either side of that world, there is a need to really focus on the completion of a task over the next 2 weeks, regardless of whether you kind of want to do it or not. It's really important to get this done. All right, let's have a quick look at what the spiritual advice is for Scorpio. So, Universe Spirit, in 2 cards, what spiritual advice do you have for Scorpio? What spiritual advice do you have for Scorpio in 2 cards? It says change your focus. There's a need to change, and that's what I was saying. You know, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. It may just be that your level of busy changes, if that makes any sense, because this is a really busy card. And you've got people that you might be dealing with, or challenges, you know, not big challenges, just small, because it's only a pip card. You know, small challenges, or just things that you're having to manage, deal with, be flexible on, be adaptable to. And there is a need to really, you know, this surprise coming in, something you don't expect, maybe that you're expected to be on the front line. So some of you guys who have been in the background, you might be pushed forward to manage something, to manage somebody else's kids, for example, or to just manage something. It feels like it's something that you're not used to doing in this area here. This feels like something that you're just not used to doing. 9 of Wands means to be on the front line, because he's the guard, he's guardian. It's a guardianship card, so this is being on the front line. And some of you guys aren't used to being on that front line, but you may be put front forward, you know, you may be put on the front line to manage something here, and you're not used to it, and it really is going to require, if you're going to stay grounded and balanced, Scorpio, it's going to require you to strategize and to think clearly and to implement some really clearly defined instructions here, all right, because you're the one that's in charge. All right, so even if you're kind of like, man, this feels uncomfortable, I don't like doing this. Well, you know, the best way to support yourself is to cut out the emotional bit. Two of Swords is not emotional. She's cut the emotion out and purely focus on completing the task. And to do that, you may need to just change your focus, showing up there, and open up to the possibilities of what you can do. Open yourself up. With this 4, I think this is maybe the 4 of Wands energy showing here, actually. I think it's the 4 of Wands or the 4 of, I don't think it's the 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands, I think it is. I'm not sure what that represents. I think because this is based on the tarot, so I know this is the 5 of Cups. They call it change of focus because 5s represent change. But change your focus and open up to the possibility that you can do this, okay? And also, another card, success and growth. showing up here. So open up to the potential that this can actually help you to grow as a person as well, I think. All right, open up to that. Sometimes when things come in and we're kind of like, oh man, I don't really want to do that, because this looks to me, whatever this is, Scorpio, like it's something that would be uncomfortable. It's something that you wouldn't have done before, and you're just kind of like, ah. Now, some Scorpios don't mind change, and some Scorpios do. So for those of you that don't really sit well with change, or things kind of like being thrust upon you, you know, because you're in the seat of power here. I'm seeing you being in the seat of power, having to manage something. And I think that some of you guys are going to be like, oh man, I'm too scared. This doesn't feel right. I don't feel comfortable doing this. But you've got to ignore your emotions on that, because it's your emotions that will take you down the path that you won't be able to do it. And you really need to just focus on completing the task. Okay, and also I think you need to focus on your higher self as well, because you're capable of doing it. You know you are. It's just the fear that talks to you. So I feel that, you know, the spiritual advice as well with these 3 cards, Scorpio, is also saying if you feel that way, fine, but just remember there is a need over the next 2 weeks, Scorpio, to change that focus and open yourself up to the potential of success and growth, not just in terms of you growing as an individual, which is obviously very important, but also you never know where this can lead, whatever it is, where it could lead to. Open yourself up to the potential that this could really kind of expand your own life potentially, if you really let it. Okay? All right, that's your reading, my darlings. I would like to say, Scorpio, thank you so much for joining me on Carol's Universe, and have a great day. If you'd like to order a reading with me, you can click on the link below or click on the link in the end screen. Take care, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.